Yeah. So let's get into Werewolf by Night. So this is this new format that Disney Plus and Marvel is doing, this special presentation. So it's
Mhm.
gonna be like a one-off, like almost like a short film or like short something. Will, what was your expectation, and then coming from seeing this episode, what's your oral thoughts?
I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun,
Okay.
and I hope they keep doing things that are like this quality, 'cause- and like this like format. Because I think it there's a lot of potential there to like introduce new characters without, uh, I guess, like committing to a full show or a full um, film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought it could have been a little longer,
Yeah.
um, but I liked it as like a little window into a different corner of the universe.
Yeah, yeah, great. This is the longest compared to all the other Disney Plus shows being confirmed. So excuse me. Which is interesting. Yeah, I gotta say it. This is my favorite thing to come out in October so far. I think that's definitely my favorite part of the Phase Four stuff for MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I I I I really think it was the horror thing that I think Doctor Strange 2 was trying to do, but I
Yes.
think this successfully did it properly.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I thought like it looked like a classic Hollywood film, horror film, like Universal slash Hammer
Mm-hmm.
style. The casting was great. I think Garcia Marn and then the Lauren Darling uh were fantastic characters that I fall in love right away. Like because I enjoyed the characters, but I think this was the one MCU project that I instantly liked these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Jane, I think people just are not really connected to Jane's character, the She-Hulk. Where here, I think like right away you're connected with the characters properly. Like you understood what Elsa Bloodstone is really about as a character,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
more than any of these characters we had so far at Phase Four, because of just the long history of just not being consistent or just doing something different or not paying off properly with their arcs.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just refreshing. And then and just in general, Michael Giacchino's first big directorial debut basically
Mm-hmm.
is impressive. I wasn't expecting much. And there were cool moments, like when we got to the Bloodstone, uh, like medallion or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's red, like it's the only color before we get into the ending of fully hit the color.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's good direction, and I think he just nails everything. Um, and very gory.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was expecting to see like an actual chop hand full screen. Well, I mean, we see I mean, we saw a little bit of that in Iron Man 3, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but beheaded? No way. I wasn't expecting like an axe in the head like that. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I like
And like
twice.
the big splashes of blood every time he would claw someone was,
Oh my god,
yeah.
impressive. Oh my
So
god.
just way more than you'd think they would show for a Marvel film. So it was good.
Yeah, and I think this make me at least comfortable about the zombies thing, maybe because
Mm-hmm.
I think people were kind of questioning it, why we're doing it again with that, but now I'm like, okay, I can see that, but it
Mm-hmm.
depends on the creative team, because I think
Right.
this creative team just were 100%, 100% with this project. I think. Um, but yeah, I really appreciate that, and I just love the black and white, and it just felt cinematic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, oh my god, I just fell in love with it right away. Just it's one of the best. I think it's one of the best MCU projects we had, It just
Definitely for phase 4, yeah.
yeah. I still like Shang-Chi as my favorite. This is
Hmm.
definitely second.
Okay.
Um, so but yeah, so let's get into the other things. I like how we set up the supernatural universe. Like they,
Hmm.
first begin. Oh well, let's get into the Marvel Studios logo. Like that was
Hmm.
great.
Hmm.
We start the traditional, and then the claws direction, and then we get into this very cool universal like style of Marvel
Hmm.
Studios logo, and
Hmm.
Giacchino re-orchestrating his score for the fanfare
Hmm.
was just spectacular. I just like right away it got me into the move of this episode, uh, film basically. Um, yeah, and and then right away like explain the history, like what was the Bloodstone family about, these hunters, hunting down these monsters around the world. Of course we have the
Hmm.
Avengers and all of that, but like there's things that we don't know about, and I really appreciate this mini s- like storyline to
Hmm.
explain what's behind the curtains, and I really dug that, and great exposition, you know
Hmm.
to explain this new part of MCU we haven't done yet, and just doing it one off was great. Um, so we get into our characters like Werewolf by Night himself, Jack
Hmm.
Russell. I
Hmm.
think he was great. I really like his character. I thought his banter with Elsa Bloodstone was great, and his oral arc was interesting.
Hmm.
I I appreciate, like, because they're doing the thing where um these people are hunting these monsters because they're different from everyone, and they're like
Hmm.
they think they're violent, and I like how in with Jack, how this is he was like was this is traditional in his family, that he's been opposed of this power, and he has
Hmm.
no like control of it, and I really
Hmm.
appreciate how we show that not all monsters are evil, like we think it is, like especially him, and man thing as well. Like man
Hmm.
thing is not
Yeah.
harmless. He's like a harmless creature. I mean, he's gonna
Uh-huh.
defend himself, if they're gonna provoke him, or even hurt him. Like he's gonna defend himself. Like I really like that side,
Hmm.
this like theme of there's no one, like don't assume their identity, or that type of thematical theme.
Hmm.
And I thought Jack was really compelling character that was so complex, and I like the moments where I like how he was like very, like what's the word, pacifist, like despite the claim.
Pacifist, yeah.
Yeah, like despite he claimed that he killed 100 people, which could be true, but
Hmm.
he's like just a normal guy who's been opposed to this power, and he has no control of it. And I thought he
Hmm.
was such a sympathetic character
Yeah, he
throughout this
was.
episode. Yeah. But yeah. And I think the actor Garcia was fantastic. I love him
Yeah.
as
Gail
actor.
Garcia Bernal. Yeah.
Yes.
He's fantastic. He's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of his for a long time.
hmm Yeah, and I think he just brought it all, and I love the little detail of his makeup with the white
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
Like I thought that was a look good detail that yeah, and my God, the man thing relationship, like
Hmm.
another unexpected relationship. Also, I wasn't expecting that. I
Yeah.
fell in love.
Yeah. I liked the twist that he was there to break him out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, oh, what? Like I thought maybe he needs, like I thought maybe he needed to help a friend, or like someone he knew, like a family member. But I was like, oh, that makes sense. He's a friend of man thing. I love the reference of Ted, because that's the
Mm.
character that transformed.
Right.
Like
It's his name. Yeah.
yeah, and I actually love that. That's so great and sweet. He calls him Ted. I just love
Hmm.
it. Oh my God. Yeah, and I like how, despite Man Thing leaves and escapes, he does
Hmm.
come back for Jack, and
Hmm.
make sure he's safe. And I
Yeah.
just I mean, and the effects of Man Thing, like incredible. Like they
Mm-hmm.
did a good job of balancing the CGI slash the practical effects. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we turn into the Tentacolor for the first time towards the end of the
Mm-hmm.
episode, like he looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And way better than his full movie version back in 2005. Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, he had his own movie like back in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
In sci-fi kind of. Which it was close, but it was was typical CGI. But yeah, I really enjoyed that Jack and Man Thing relationship, and yeah, I'm very excited to see both of them come back soon. And not a
Yeah.
hurry, but you know,
No, I hope they keep doing like Halloween specials, and it's building towards like a
Midnight
Howling
Suns.
Commandos thing. That too.
Yeah. Oh, Howling Commandos. Oh,
Yeah.
that could be a good werewolf team. Howling
No,
Commandos.
in the comics, Nick Fury has a group called the Howling Commandos. It's like a play
Oh,
on the Captain America thing, but it's like
yeah, yeah.
Werewolf by Night and like
And the monsters.
yeah, all the like monster themed like C list.
Yeah. Oh no, no,
Yeah.
I know the Howling Commandos.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
realized the name Halloween, like Halloween,
Yeah.
like almost like a
I think
werewolf.
yeah, that's why they use that name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought that'd be kind of cool to change it up
Yeah.
to be more werewolf team.
Hmm.
But yeah, yeah, that's true. And and the thing I liked about this was, this was brought up from a video I saw. It was refreshing that they didn't do any like setup for like a future project, or
Yes. That
that
was
was some
nice.
yeah, that was something that I really liked about this.
It
That it
actually
was
felt self-contained.
exactly. And I because when it's I think Marvel can do it good, but then there's other times they just kind of fumble a little bit too much.
Hmm.
Like She-Hulk, unfortunately, kind of did that for me. Like they
Hmm.
fumble like any like teases they were trying to do. I wasn't like so ecstatic about it.
Hmm.
Here, did not set up anything. Just kept it self-contained. I was happy about that. And the ones that we left live, are open to come back. And because we know they're gonna do a supernatural thing soon. We have Blade. Despite what's going on with that, it's still on the cards. So,
Yep.
and well, I guess I want to bring this up because seeing this special, let's get into Michael Giacchino. I think this is definitely the best director I've seen, and I wish he directed Blade because
Yeah.
I
I
he
mean, maybe that's gonna be announced soon. This did kind of feel like an audition for something like that.
yeah.
So
Well, I bring this up because he kind of commented he's not gonna do it.
okay.
Yeah, I want to bring that because I just thought he is perfect for Blade. It's like who else gonna be perfect to direct that after that Richard director? I don't know. I thought Giacchino did a great job with the score, but also directing. I like
Hmm.
how he like especially when we see Jack looking around, and then
Hmm.
when he kind of encounters the Scotsman, and you see
Hmm.
how different he is from the hunters, and
Hmm.
so I thought that was a really good direction, and the humor, like he just knew how like the humor works, like
Hmm.
he he did everything right with the humor, like comedic timing was just perfect, like the scene where Jack was trying to explode the wall, and
Hmm.
like he's throwing this bomb, and it's like it just continues falling off, and you think it could have been just dragging too long, or like it's just not funny, but it was funny, and it's
Hmm.
just in the right amount, and I think he did such a good job with that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I just thought, and then with the horror, I like how he did not use too many jump scares. There was one jump
Hmm.
scare, but it did like startle me a little bit, and I thought it was great, because because you don't know Jack was a monster
Hmm.
yet, and so like now when I would watch it, I was like, oh, I see what he's doing.
Mhm.
Like, because not only he's scared for his friend, he's also scared for himself because they hunt his kind. You
Mhm.
know, and so I thought that was like very unique and fresh after a second watch.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I was very impressed with the maze they went into. Like,
Mhm.
it was very shiny slash maze runner kind of type of horror film.
Mhm.
Uh, just very great atmosphere and just creativity from Michael Giacchino
Mhm.
in this episode, which is good. Was there any favorite scenes that you liked from this episode? Or what stuck to you that was your favorite?
I liked the scene where Jack and Elsa were like talking in the
Oh yes.
what do you call that? The
Um,
where all of her like ancestors were buried.
I think I I know what you're talking about. I think it's
Yeah, the
the
the, the tomb. I
the
don't know what to
tombs.
call it. There's a specific word for the mausoleum, maybe.
Yeah, Monasticism or something like that. Okay, room with tombs. Oh my god, the altar. I think you call it. The altar tombs. You call it. When we're in a room with full of tombs and like a building, that's what you call it, altar.
Okay.
Um, I think I'm correct in that, but we'll see. But yeah, that scene was great. Like just seeing Elsa being there, and this would be a good time to talk about her. But I thought the scene was really neat, seeing these two characters from different worlds that
Mhm.
you didn't know. Like you know about Elsa a little bit more than Jack, but
Mhm.
interacting with them, making like trying Jack trying to be nice and trying to like make a bargain with her
Mhm.
was like really interesting to see, and just seeing her like Elsa being just so conflicted
Mhm.
and, and about her history with her family and this the path that she didn't even want to have,
Mhm.
and so I thought was really neat, and it concluded to this very funny scene of her breaking into this tomb to find the keys to open the door,
Mhm.
which is funny. Just seeing Jack holding the skeletons was just funny as well. Just oh my god, classic, and yeah, very great scene. I agree with you. My favorite was what was it? The the transformation of Werewolf by Night. Seeing
Mm.
his
Mhm.
silhouette, like seeing it
Yeah.
full was really great, and seeing like Elsa's reaction was really great because because now you know that he was the werewolf.
Mhm.
It because he explained that he was sensing her scent, so
Mhm.
he cannot be harmed, which I that was a neat detail,
Mhm.
and but she doesn't know this is gonna work.
Right.
So I just love how the fear is still there, and it's just I thought that scene was just incredible.
Yeah. No, that scene made it really clear that Giacchino like knew the like visual language of those old horror movies. Like that he was like a big
Yes,
fan. Yeah. He
yeah,
definitely knew how to like capture the feel of those old movies. And you definitely
yeah,
caught that in the transformations.
yeah. And the feel as well of the tone as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the tone was very consistent throughout. Like it had that very like hocus pocus kind of feel to it. This very macabre feel
Mm-hmm.
slash weirdness slash just adventurous like mid 40s slash 20s kind of films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that. And I also like what the scene was when they both get captured. I like the conversation that Jack and Elsa has as well,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
which because he was there trying to save him, and then and of course Elsa, of course, kind of like persecute him because he's a monster, and like
Mm-hmm.
what he was doing, it was just like just her and mindset like. this is so dangerous, and then him not realizing that the bloodstone is gonna accelerate his transformation, because apparently the full moon was like 5 days, but because the moonstone has the ability to like transform the creature right away. So that was like already, like when I heard that, I was like, oh god, he's doomed.
Hmm.
He's f up completely. Uh, yeah. Let's get into Elsa. I think that's the character we need to talk the most. Elsa Bloodstone. I'm not familiar with this character. Are you familiar with this character more?
A
I
little bit. I know her a little bit from Next Wave.
Next Wave. Okay.
I don't know if
Uh,
you're familiar with that series, but
I no. This is like my
okay.
first time like hearing these characters, except with Man Thing. I was somewhat familiar with him, but not too much.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So I, not knowing much about Werewolf by Night or this character, also Bloodstone, I was very impressed of Bloodstone.
Hmm.
She, it was definitely my favorite character. I mean, she uh, and Jack, like a toss up of my favorites, but like, I thought she was a great female character, very complex, and I like this conflict of her not going to the path that her family has opposed to the family to take, to be these hunters, monster hunters. And I thought that was an interesting arc. I wish we had more of it
Hmm.
in this film, but I think it was enough to understand where she's at. So and just the actress, Lauren Darling, who is from Atlanta. I first saw from her there, and I know she's from the Nevers, the HBO show.
Hmm.
And I thought she was really great. I'm happy she's in the MCU. I hope we see her again. And I thought she was really fantastic throughout this episode, and I think she had great chemistry with Garcia and the character slash Jack throughout. What do you think about her performance and the character overall? And they were faithful to her character as well. With the material you read.
The material that I'm familiar with, I don't think should be used to like show
Oh,
what a character is normally like. It's very like over the top. Um, it's Warren Ellis being Warren Ellis, but
oh, I see, I see. Yeah,
yeah,
I can see. Yeah,
but
he's hit and miss, hit and miss.
yeah, but so the characters are all very like caricatured for the series, and I think she's like since gone on to like be a different thing,
Yeah,
but um, yeah, no, I liked her. I'd definitely be interested in like seeing more from her later.
mm,
Um, so yeah, I hope they come back with these characters sometime.
yeah. I agree. Uh, yeah. Where I mean, I guess now with Blade being pushed, like I can see them being characters to be used.
Hmm.
Like, because the fact that you already got these characters that people like now and they
Hmm.
love, I think this is actually a good way to like actually use. If you're not gonna have Q direct it, like at least use the Werewolf by Night as a template
Hmm.
to make the tone and what the film Blade should be. You know,
Hmm.
because people already are concerned about like how far you're gonna make Blade a horror film, because he is a horror character. You know,
Hmm.
I mean the Blade trilogy are horror films. You know, they're not
Yep.
superhero films. You know, so I think this is a good like direction and inspiration to take for Blade to take his
Hmm.
next screen debut. Uh, and then the industry interactions, because Blade is a vampire, and we did have one vampire reference with that creature, and the
Hmm.
headless creature thing we
Yep.
saw in the room. I thought that it'll be interesting to see Blade, this vampire character, to interact with these other monsters. And like,
Hmm.
is he a monster hunter? Like, is the update, instead of him hunting vampires, he is also a hunter of every monster? Like,
Hmm.
that could be a good update for
Yeah, I
Blade.
think it'd be interesting.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to go. And speaking of monsters, I could say one really monster character is the grandma. I want to bring up. I think that villain was just so like out there. She really
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of like a '80s like crooked slash ridiculous villain that
Mm-hmm.
is just caused trouble, and she was that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't know what you think about that character, but I thought she was just a great antagonist towards Jack and Elsa Bloodstone.
Yeah. I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's probably, I mean, she's like a ritual character, so. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but I like things about her. Like I like how she looked very like Leland Monster from the Monsters, like the white striped hair.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like how just goth she looks, and I
Yep.
really dug that. My I don't know you have favorite hunters, but I really dug the Scotsman. He was funny.
Yeah.
Like
No, I agree.
oh my god, I when he was looking around and then he sees Ask, he like was so happy to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it was fun, and then we got those uh, three other monsters. They were okay, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, speaking of monsters, I just want to go down. I think this will be a good time to wrap up Werewolf by Night. Is there any topics you want to bring up? Um, I well, uh, let me mention the monsters, and then we'll go back to what's gonna be the future for those characters. But we'll get into that. We got our reference of Bigfoot, the Wendigo and Sasquatch characters that
Mm-hmm.
we know from the comics. This is their reference, which is cool. And then of course we got Man Thing here, which is great. The character looked awesome, and I'm very excited to see that character again.
Mm-hmm.
Mermaids, we got mentioned those. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
two is mermaids have two heads. Like, is that
I guess they do in the
yeah,
MCU.
yeah. Well, I'm looking in my notes. Apparently, this is from the Greek mythology that they're like sirens. Like they're half human, half fish woman,
Mm-hmm.
and they have wings. Apparently, I'm just looking at these. Yeah, and it's funny that they're mermaids because we're gonna get Namor soon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of funny. And then demons. We got our demons here. Uh, this one, the head is from a character called Krog. So this demon actually appeared in the Werewolf by Night issue 8 back in 1973. So he's a character from that series.
Hmm.
And then we got a like this lizard creature. Uh, I mean, I don't know if that's like a reference to the lizard at all, but yeah. So we got the lizard here. Or he kind of looks the creatures from Savage Land, actually.
Mm-hmm.
One of those characters that we're gonna see soon. And then Gremlins, of course. Let's not forget about the Gremlins. Uh, we got a reference for that. But yeah, those are the monsters we reference. And then oh, and then we got we have one for one of the symbols. The pain, the what we call it, the speed painting of the history.
Mm-hmm.
One monster looked kind of like Gord, the God Butcher, um, in his comic book form.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, like it's a very quick snapshot of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of instant they have that there. But I mean, Gore is a monster, so um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. What else I'm looking at? The on monsters. Yeah, it's actually in. Oh, okay. It's this is where it's in. Okay, it's in the paints early on. And when we get the history. Then what else? I'm just looking at other references. Oh, it was neat. They used somewhere over the rainbow from the Westeros as the ending
Right. When it
for
turned to
Else.
color.
Yes, that was neat. That was the best direction from
Mm-hmm.
Giacchino. And when it turned into the Technicolor, it looked like the 50s,
Mm-hmm.
like with Elsa's jacket and like the filter of the like. of the
Yep.
screen. Like it felt like the 50s, and that was like such a great direction and cinematic technique. So I
Hmm.
really dug that. Oh, the TVA. That's another one. I they didn't really confirm they're the TVA, but like I think they look.
Don't think they were. I think they just
Yeah,
had cattle prods.
yeah. Like I think it's just this like they're the like this meaningless henchmen that just have this heavy armor
Hmm.
basically. And the sticks are different from
Yeah.
Loki. So
Yeah.
but yeah. But it'd be kind of cool if we do like a nice like Easter egg or wrap that those people were actually maybe part of a family group of protectors or some sort with this
Hmm.
bloodstone, and then maybe something that Kane take took them and put them in the TVA, you know.
Hmm.
So be that. But yeah. So anything else we have to say about Werewolf by Night, Will?
But no, I think I've said everything.
Yeah, same here. I think this was a good special. I hope we see more of this. Not only for Halloween, as you say. I think we kind of could see this. I don't know, like Thanksgiving or Christmas. I mean, obviously
Okay. Oh, we're
Christmas.
getting a Christmas one.
Oh, what's the Christmas one?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yes, yes, we're gonna get that. That's true.
Hmm.
I totally forgot about we're getting that as well. I it's just oh my god, too many things in Phase 4. Anyway, so thank you, Will, for coming today.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, this was a fun 2 hour discussion. So yeah, go to Miss She-Hulk, and yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So all right, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Me and Will are going to be back, of course, for another podcast in 2 weeks. For now, enjoy this huge, spectacular Marvel Plus stuff. Have a good night, everyone.